The summon meta is coming, and get prepared because the Fade collab is basically bringing us JoJo stands to Star Rail. They're called servants, but not as many know servants compared to stands. I won't explain what servants are or do, so you're welcome to watch someone else do a better job explaining them. I am simply here for Sunday, and so are you. Sunday is an imaginary harmony unit coming in 2.8, and no time is wasted here, so let's jump right to his kit. His basic attack doesn't really do anything, so let's jump right to his skill. His skill gives the ally an insta action and gains a 40% damage increase. If the ally is a summoner, gains an additional 40% damage increase for 2 turns on top of the original 40% you gained. Harmony units cannot take advantage of this insta action, by the way, because Bronya and Sparkle have this advanced ward feature, because that would create an infinite loop of insta actions. Also, if the ally with the beatified state gets skilled on, Sunday recovers 1 skill point for the team. Her talent allows the skill to increase the crit rate of the target ally by 20%, lasting for 3 turns. Nice and simple talent for once. For her technique, after you use it, in the next battle, the ally who gets his first ability, for example the skill or the ultimate, gets a 50% damage increase for 2 turns on top of anything else he gives. And lastly, for the ultimate, he regens 20% of max energy for an ally and applies the beatified state, increasing their crit damage, scaling off of 30% of Sunday's crit damage plus a flat 12%. Also, the beatified state loses duration every Sunday turn and lasts for 3 turns. So Sunday can play up to 3 times with the beatified active, and then the beatified will go away. And to not make it broken, it is only effective on the latest ulted person, so you can't have 2 or more allies with the same beatified effect. I'm gonna be honest about the ability prio. Skill, ultimate, and talent are all on an equal value, so I would recommend leveling up all of those at the same time. And once you have skill, ultimate, and talent leveled up, tech is the next possible upgrade you can do, which is actually useful, and you can leave basic attacks at level 1, or you can upgrade them if you want to. Moving on to the traces, starting with his small traces first. He gains 38% crit damage, which helps out with his skill, giving more crit damage to allies. He also gains 18% effect res and 12% defense for more sustain, because if your support dies, you are doomed. And now for the more important traces. Trace 1, if his ultimate doesn't generate more than 40 energy for the ally, he gives 40 energy anyway. Trace 2 gives Sunday 25 energy at the start of every battle, and T3 makes the skill remove a debuff, meaning your skill is an absolute powerhouse and has insane value once you unlock your 3rd trace. And now with the actual guide. For relics, thankfully your options are limited to 2 relics and 3 ornaments, so you have nothing to worry about. His best in slot is the Sacerdo set, because this was basically made for him. I mean, even his outfit is on the relic, so, you know. But you can also go Messenger 4-piece if you only care about the speed he needs, and not so much the crit damage he gives. As for the balls and ropes, Broken Keel is going to be the best, with Lushaka as your 2nd best option, and if you have an imaginary DPS on your team, like Ratio for example, then Penacony works really good too. For the main stats, crit damage on your body of course, speed on your boots, ER percent on the rope, and HP or defense percent to help him sustain longer in fights, since he is a support unit, and let's face it, he doesn't scale with anything else other than crit damage, so any other stat is really useless. As for substats, you need to look for 160 speed at best, and try to keep his speed at least above 134 if you can't reach 160. Other than the speed requirements, all you need to look for is crit damage, because again, he only scales with that. Now before we talk about the light cones, we have to talk about his signature. Every skill / ult on an ally, he gains 6 flat energy and increases the target's damage by a percentage, up to 3 stacks. Every 2 skills and or ults, he recovers a skill point for the team. The damage bonus increase, by the way, is applied to both ally and summon, but this is limited to only Sunday apparently, so Ting Yun can buff any summon unit, only the ally itself. Also, the energy he gains from his light cone can change depending on your ER, so 6 flat energy is not exactly 6 flat, it can change. If your mama got no money, then here are some other options you can use for light cones. Bronya light cone is good for the ER, the free skill point, and the 30% damage increase, and this is an upgrade to past and future. So if you don't have Bronya LC, use past and future because it is the kind of free to play compared to Bronya's light cone. Planetary Rendezvous is also good if you play with an imaginary DPS like Ratio again, but I still believe past and future and Bronya light cone outclass this. And of course they're both more universal than Planetary Rendezvous. Lastly, if you have this lying around for some reason, Sparkle's light cone is perfect in every way, giving both crits to allies, crit damage and crit rate, and obviously crit damage to Sunday, so he gives out more crit damage himself. Now, as for teammates that are good with Sunday, any crit scaling DPS is very good with him, but there is too many to name, so I'll give you a few examples. Jade, Blade, Herda, Jingliu, Yunli, Fei Xiao, Ratio, Motsa, Himiko, Acheron. You get the point. They all scale and benefit immensely from crit stats, so someone like Sunday fills the spot perfectly, especially to those like Yunli or Genti Jingliu who rely very much on their ultimate for their kit. I will also be giving 5 examples of Sunday teams, so you can have an idea of where Sunday could fit in your teams. For a Ratio team, Sunday can get Ratio's ultimate back up quickly, meaning he gets even more follow-up attacks, alongside someone like Topaz or Motsa for the follow-up attack damage increase, or Silverwolf and Pela for the debuffs. For Jingliu, she's very dependent on her ultimate, which Sunday of course can help out a lot, just like Ho-Ho. Alongside someone like Pela, who gives a debuff at a certain Idolon, that gives a huge boost to ice damage for Jingliu. This team is really good, and if you pair up Ho-Ho and Sunday together for Jingliu, this could result in way more Jingliu ultimates than you could ever imagine. As for Yunli, she's very ult-based. Sunday again is great to get her big damage up on time. Units like Motsa, Topaz, and March, and even Clara have amazing synergy and provide even more damage increases to a hyper-carry Yunli. Although I would recommend to put someone like Robin or Ron Mei for a Yunli team, since you are probably playing duo DPS. Another team is Argenti, and being the usual heavily ult-based unit, you can pair him up with Jiao Cho and Sunday to make an absolute unit for both small and big enemies. I mean, Jiao Cho can do some damage as well, but I don't think he compares to Argenti on that team. And finally, for King Yuan, of course, Motsa and Topaz are perfect supports to carry his immense damage of trillions up to even more. And with Sunday's buffs, you can also have enough Lightning Lord stacks, so you can dish out a 10 Lightning Lord attack. As for summoners like Jing Yuan, Topaz, and even Lingsha, if you go with the offensive build, they are also perfect for Sunday, but for now we have no new summoners yet. Patch 3.0 onwards will be a summon meta, so Sunday will get his value eventually the more you wait. You kind of have to like invest into him, so don't miss out on your chance on getting him. And now, here's the part where people with money get excited. The Idolons. His E1 makes the skill give 20% defense shred to the ally, and if they have a summon, the summon gains a 40% def shred instead of 20%. E2 gives 2 skill points after every Sunday ult, and any ally with the beatified state deals 30% more damage. E4 gives him 8 flat energy every turn he takes, and the crazy one, E6, the talent's duration is increased to 3, and the crit boost stacks up to 3 as well. Additionally, his ult now applies the talent effect to the ally he targeted, and if the ally's crit rate is over 100%, he increases crit damage of the ally by 2% for each 1% crit rate over 100. So if your Acheron, for example, has 105 crit rate, Sunday will convert that and give you 10% crit damage to your Acheron. If you're stuck between E1 or S1, E1 is infinitely better for damage, since defense shred is an insane type of damage increase. And most kits don't usually give it out for free. Don't get me wrong, S1 isn't bad, but with the amount of pure damage increases you get from his base kit, the extra 15% that stacks up to 45 isn't as appealing as the defense shred. On the other hand though, the ER you get from the S1 is really good, and the skill points could be really good as well, because maybe this summon meta will require a lot of skill point usage. I'm not an expert, I'm just saying. In terms of damage, I believe E1 is far better, but in terms of utility and potential, S1 does beat E1. Basically, if you do enough damage, go for S1. If you don't, E1 could be better. Okay, before we end, the materials. If you are pre-farming him like I'm doing currently, here's all the materials you'll ever need and the respective names. Sunday will be the new meta support for 3.0 onwards, so I'd really recommend to pull for him if you want to be ready for the next meta that we're getting, and of course if you like him. I'm just saying, if you want your Gilgamesh to be doing 1,000,000 damage, Sunday's gonna be the way probably. Make sure to subscribe if you want more guides. I'm really close to 1,000 subs while making this video, so I hope this video pushes me through that 1K mark. Anyways, see ya.